I just returned from the Panama Canal. Panamanians are excited about President Trump. In this video, I'll give you the cliff notes as to why we should control one of the greatest assets built by America, the Panama Canal. The reasons are compelling and the history is filled with drama.
Panama uses the US dollar, but is governed similar to most Central and South American countries. Nearly all the money is centralized among a few leading families in and around Panama City, while the rest of the country languishes in abject poverty. The idea of the canal began in the 1500s by Spain, but it was not formally attempted until the late 1800s when French gave it an unsuccessful go. The French ran aground financially after 14 years of work on the Panama Canal. A few years later, in 1903, under Theodore Roosevelt, the US took up the project, but unsurprisingly, it was not without controversy. Panama was a Spanish territory until 1821, when it was interestingly partnered with Colombia for protection. There is no feasible land route from Colombia to Panama, although they are connected by a territory known as the Darien Gap. As a result, Colombia would need to use naval forces to defend Panama. Congress signed a treaty with Colombia known as the Herrán Treaty in 1903. Colombian leadership arrogantly rejected the treaty and in so doing sealed the fate of their control over Panama. The United States' next move was to back the Panamanians in declaring their independence from Colombia. In 1903, when the Panamanians were fighting to secede from Colombia, President Roosevelt sent the USS Nashville to Colon, Panama, to ensure that the Colombians could not overpower the fledgling Panamanians. It is also important to note that the U.S. signed a treaty with Panama that guaranteed a 10-mile-wide easement and a grant to the United States in perpetuity, meaning it was perpetual or forever. We built the canal, we paid for the canal, we opened the canal, we operated the canal, and we protected the canal. That was all well and good until the 1970s when the deep state regressives, for no good reason, decided to repeal the permanent treaty. Just adjacent to the Panama Canal is the Panama Canal Railway. This railway serves as an alternate method to move goods without passing ships through the canal. Ships are unloaded on either side and then transported on train across the short transcontinental railway. Some shippers use the rail because the fees to get through the canal are about $400,000 for a loaded ship. Up to this point, I've only showed you the original Panama Canal, which was opened in 1914. What I am now showing you is the new canal built to support China's new Panamax or post-Panamax class cargo ships. These ships carry over 20,000 containers. The new canal was opened in 2016 with funding from the IFC, which is the International Finance Corporation, which is located in Washington, D.C., and of course, primarily funded with American tax dollars. They are rich beyond measure because of the canal, with free protection from the United States. The wealth is not shared or used wisely, as I previously mentioned. President Trump is right. We should control the Panama Canal. Regressive Americans relinquish control of the canal, and Panama leadership has broken the treaty. Much like the Obama-Biden era of leadership, the treaty was conceived out of weakness. It gives an American asset to Panama with nothing in return. It makes no sense. When your tax dollars are used to build a premium asset, you cannot simply give it away and protect it for free. The Panama Canal was and always will be a United States asset. I will, however, give you some reasons why it is in America's best interest to control the Panama Canal. First, the United States invested military might to ensure the freedom of all Panamanians. Second, we provided protection for Panama for a century. Third, we invested our tax dollars to build the original canal and the new Panamax Canal. Fourth, the United States lost American lives in the construction of the canal. Fifth, the 1970s regressives, including President Jimmy Carter, had no more justification to give away an amazing American asset than we do today. Sixth, For the purposes of national security, the United States must control all transportation routes around our country. 7. Panamanians will be safer and more prosperous if they, with protection from America, institute for themselves a government that will honor their natural rights and ensure their future security. 8. 120 years ago, China had zero interest or investment in this trade route. Americans paid for it. 9. Panama is corrupt. The United States has a proven record of protecting humanity, while most other countries in the world protect their leaders at the cost of humanity. And finally, 10th, lest you find yourself feeling like we're being unfair to the Panamanians, then remind yourself that their corrupt government hoards the majority of the country's wealth within 5 families. They have high taxation, and this would not be the first time that America has come to support the freedom for the Panamanians. America is losing $24 billion each month to China. The Panama Canal gives China easy and cheap access to the East Coast. The Panama Canal Authority has allowed China to occupy a massive port at the mouth of the Panama Canal that the United States built. Resuming our rightful control over the Panama Canal will make America stronger, and it will lead to a safer world. That's it from the Panama. Like and share this video with others that want to understand how critical it is that America resumes rightful control of the Panama Canal.